Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today we're going to have a roundtable discussion on a few issues in the news, starting especially with the debate, the controversy about the place of the former NEC chairman, National Electoral Commission chairman, Professor Humphrey Nwosu. And of course, we also want to talk about what happened in Uromi recently. To join me in that conversation today, I have to my immediate right, Mr. Martin Oloja, former managing director of The Guardian, who is now a columnist. Mr. Martin, welcome back to Inside Sources.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And to my far right is Mr. Etim, a retired banker and columnist, and who is also a former Guardian. So we have a Guardian. All right. So welcome, Mr. Etim.
Thank you.
All right. So let's start. Mr. Oloja, this question of the right place of Professor Humphrey Nwosu. We saw in the National Assembly, I think specifically in the Senate, where Senator Abaribe and quite a number of other senators thought that, look, we should declare this guy basically as a national hero for defending June 12. And of course, you saw that very spirited opposition from people like Senator Adiola, aka Yayi, saying that no. I mean, this guy, and even Senator Oshiomhole, so that this guy, if he had actually gone ahead, maybe we would have averted quite a bit of stuff. So where do you land, Mr. Roger, on this?
It's still like the discussion on the latest book in the market on the same issue.
Yes.
And I commented on it when it arose. It is still the same thing. I would like to say that whatever everybody is saying, as I said in that television interview, that it is like a tale told by an idiot, as Shakespeare would have put it, full of sound and fury, signifying that. So you know why? The election result, where is it? There is no doubt about the place of Professor Humphrey Nwosu. No doubt about that. He did well, but he didn't finish well. Some forces just conspired to destroy the work he had done. And so today, democracy would not have been where we were if that election result had been announced. It threatened to unify Nigeria.
Yeah.
And it just threatened. And I think the African Guardian used that word in the cover they did on it, threatened to unify Nigeria.
Yeah, because we had MKO defeating Tofa in
Kano. And also in Rivers, Tofa defeated MKO
in Rivers.
In Rivers. So everything just happened like that. It was like that, but now they just told the story in a book in chapter 12, which is still being debated,
right.
Even while other things in the book have been ignored. But they are talking about the June 12 phenomenon, and which the professor Olatunji Dare just compiled a book. He even compiled a story that I wrote on June 12. Those who signed away June 12, that was published in The Guardian on Sunday in those days, like that. Diary of a debacle. Still a debacle. So I think we don't need to just belabor this thing. If we want to honor Professor Humphrey Nwosu, we can honor him. But the abortion that happened to the election result itself, it's not something that we should be remembering. The man has died. He has written his own story. He wrote his own book. The account of what happened is not particularly different from what even the president at that time, the military president at that time, just talked about. I have no doubt in my mind that the man should be honored. But I think it should not be on a priority list at this time, that we should ignore so many other weightier matters of the law. So while I believe that he should be honored,
right.
And I think that we should not glorify a dark side of our political history like that, because one, there was an abortion. They didn't finish the election well. They annulled the election. They said it was the best in our history. But when you look at some of the villains that have been honored, they even named some institutions after some villains in our country. On the other hand, I do not see any reason we I don't see any reason we cannot honor him without making so much noise about it, without all this opposition. Yes, he did well. He conducted this election. He brought a formula that has defined the electoral management system in this country. And he himself, first-class brain, the way he did this thing. And it can also remind us about how they managed election at that time, how they managed Nigeria. They brought together the brightest and the best at that time. That one reminds us of how to look for the brightest and the best, not from our ethnic group, not from our religious group, not from anything.
Wherever
they are. Look for them. And that is what, on the other hand, Professor Humphrey Nwosu represents in our system. He represents one of our brightest and one of our best. Headhunted to handle a very sensitive national assignment that some forces aborted. So I believe that he should be honored, but we shouldn't just allow that one to waste our time, because there are so many things that we need to do at this time. And those people who are opposed to all these things should consider all these factors. Yes, this thing happened, but let us look at the kind of architecture we can find in the ruin.
Interesting. Very, I like the way you put it. Find architecture in the ruin. Very, very interesting. Mr. Hettin, how do you land? Should Professor Nwosu, late, may so rest in peace, should he be immortalized? Like Senator Baribe has said, or like Senator Adiola, he should not be immortalized because the results were.
He should be celebrated. He should be celebrated for the good job he did. And I align myself with Martin's thoughts. He worked under very difficult circumstances, under a military rule that did not even want the elections in the first place
to take place.
They did not want it, but they deceived Nwosu. Nwosu worked very hard and bring up that election. Remember that before the election was held, there was ABN, sponsored Association for Better Nigeria, sponsored by the same military people to truncate the election.
That was in Zeribe.
That's right. That was in Zeribe. But Nwosu worked to circumvent that. And after that, there was the court judgment by Justice Ikpeme. Even then,
who turns out to have emerged from Akwambo's chambers. and General Manga said that he wasn't aware of that.
It is people like Babangida who shouldn't even be celebrated. Nwosu should be honored for the risk he took, for the work he did, for devising option A4, and for the intellectual rigor he brought into our election management process. It's unfortunate that this controversy erupted just as the man was being buried. And my heart goes out to the family. As they were mourning him, as they were burying him, there was the argument, the debate in the National Assembly, denigrating him, actually. Very unfortunate. I think the president, the federal government should, at the right time, honor Professor Nwosu.
But let's move on. So these Uromi killings, this is something that is very heart-rending. If you see some of the videos, you have a number of Hausa, people coming from rivers going to Kano for the Ramadan. Something happened in Uromi. They were attacked, and very disgusting videos of how some of them were burnt. Martin, how do you respond to this? What's going on?
Well, it's really very unfortunate that all these things keep happening, and you see the way our leaders are already reacting to this kind of thing. We can't blame them, but we need to advise them through this kind of platform that it's not a new thing. We didn't expect this kind of thing to happen like that, and some of these people, they are just going around the country. They say that they are calling on investors to come, that it is well with us. And they were moving from Port Harcourt to Kano. And then they want to go, and they got to this place because they were holding gun, and the people misunderstood them, vigilante group, which, vigilante group everywhere would say, why? Why? Because of the collapse of our own system.
Yeah.
Where that most of the time our internal security operatives are overwhelmed and they can't cover the country like that. And then some of these state subnational governments just resort to this vigilante group and some of this, even in some parts of Southwest, you see Amotekun, and they are working. So I think that with our leaders everywhere at all levels, not one governor calling on the authorities in Nigeria, because the governor is part of the authorities in Nigeria.
Yeah,
to be calling on the authorities in Nigeria to look into some of these things where our people are. We shouldn't be talking about our people like that. We should be talking about Nigerians anywhere. Nobody deserves to die anyhow like that. That way, anywhere in Nigeria, whether in Kano, whether in Port Harcourt or in Akure, anywhere. And I think that that incident was really very, very unfortunate at this time like that. We don't want to see that kind of thing. We see our leaders should put especially local leaders, the leaders in the state at local government level and all those things like that, they should use this kind of thing. They should appease the families, the bereaved families like that. They should appease them, because if there is some reprisal from that part of the northern part of the country, the
country will be up in flames.
Up in flames. They will not be able to manage it. And I think that our leaders, even in their utterances, should be conflict sensitive. And at this time we are building peace and we are celebrating democracies after almost 26 years now, unbroken. And I think all these kinds should not conspire to dent the image we are getting in the world. As we are sustaining democracy, yes, we are fighting development indices not so remarkable, but then we are moving on. We are saying that we are able to use this kind of medium to advise our leaders, and they don't like it, but there's nothing they can do about it. And we continue to hold them to account, and we enjoy this kind of thing. And we want to enjoy peace building efforts all over the place. We want to enjoy peace for people to be able to bring investment to any part of the country. And you see what is happening. The biggest investor in the country is from Kano, and the investment, most of it is in the Southwest. So I think we should be celebrating this kind of thing, not to allow this incident, which is very unfortunate, to dent the image we are building. Even the other person like that, who is like a competitor to the greatest investor, Bua, it's also Kano. It's also from Kano. And the investment in Lagos, and I think we should celebrate this kind of thing. We shouldn't allow this kind of thing. So our leaders...
Both of them even have investment in Edo.
They have investment in Edo. What of cement? In fact, both of them.
Both of them, in Edo? In
Edo State, yes.
Right.
So I think that this is a very bad story. Our leaders should manage all these things, that the state assemblies that we are criticizing every day, they should look into some of this, not national assembly. There's a state assembly. There's a local government, and they should look at some of these things like that, because the way we see these state assemblies, we just feel that state assemblies are non-existent, that they are in the hand of the governors. They do not look at the power of representation that we have given them. Our representatives at the state level. We shouldn't be expecting the people representing the area in the National Assembly to just say to be the first to arrive at the scene of incident like that, to investigate what happened, so that they themselves, they should be involved in peace building and conflict resolution like this.
Did this happen at night?
No, it was in daytime.
In daytime?
Yes.
So do vigilante groups operate in the daytime?
Well, so these are the things that the investigations will have to
unpack. It's a very unfortunate situation.
Good thing the president has said that there should be a full investigation, and that, the people should be dealt with according to the law. But what do you think about how it is that our people have gotten to that stage of serious mutual suspicion, that will cause the kind of jungle justice,
I think this comes from years.
Actually, it's don't go injustice because we don't know these people.
It's not justice.
Yeah.
But let's understand this. People have been suffering a lot in the hands of the so-called headsmen, no doubt, across the country, southern and northern Nigeria. Ordinary folks in their farms have been slaughtered. So when these people saw a lorry load of people who looked like headsmen with then guns, they took the laws into their hands. Very unfortunate. But they are coming with very bitter experiences. Again, very unfortunate. Two unfortunate situations.
Yeah.
Now, it also speaks to the failure of the states that citizens don't trust the authorities. Citizens are now protecting themselves in the form of vigilante.
Right.
Because the law enforcement authorities are either absent or very weak.
Interesting.
We should learn from this in many ways. We should learn from this. Number one, there is serious need for another level of policing in the country. And I really call for state police to replace the vigilantes. The police are well trained to deal with situations like this.
Yeah.
If the police have seen those people, they would have taken them to the barracks, questioned them, debriefed them, and then punished them.
Or determine
what they really were.
Yeah.
So we need state police as secondary level of policing to replace vigilantes. Vigilantes cannot help this country.
Interesting. Very, 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 very important point too, because and I think we're making a little bit of progress in terms of state police. Although we've not had updates, but at least the president have said they're going to do state police. They are considering it in the National Economic Council. But I think this kind of incident just tells us that we have to be very urgent.
It has to be very urgent
about.
In fact, I'm surprised that the first bill that went to the National Assembly is tax reform. That should have been the first bill.
We haven't got the elite consensus on state police. Elite consensus. While some people, this elite, while some of them believe that we need it, some people do not trust some other people. They feel that if you give these governors, some of the governors that are behaving this way,
give them the power.
If you give them the power
over police,
that what would they do?
But we cannot continue to use this example to deny. We have to start something. It is the same argument about State Independent Electoral Commission that people are saying, oh, they cannot, because they always conduct election. And we cannot continue to wait until they do something right. Let us begin something. I agree with him. But when we continue to, from all the police panels report, investigative report, Judicial Commission of Inquiry of Police, from all the way, from way back, they have had so many of them. They always emphasize the point that we do not have enough men and women.
Yes.
The
police,
and
200 million
the one
people.
that we have always around 400,000 for more than 200 million.
And a lot of them are servicing.
A lot of them are servicing the
VIPs.
The elite, the VIPs. And there are VIPs in Abuja, VIPs in their hometown, VIPs, whatever offices, whatever property they have, wherever they are. And they put them, some of them. There was a particular Inspector General of Police who met with media executives and said a particular governor had 70 police officers.
Oh, wow.
A governor, yes, in the South. I don't want to mention, because yes, they said.
Look at that.
The Inspector General of Police said he was going to do something about some of this. But they have always come to say this, but all these political leaders always twist them because they
know how to do it.
They know how to do it.
Or cash twist them.
All right, very, very good place to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Mr. Martin Oloja and Mr. Etim Hetim, for coming to Inside Sources.
Thank you.